friends, and welcome once again to the English course for adults. I'm your teacher Carla, and today we call teacher Johnny, who needs to know more about Canada. So we will listen into really interesting facts about this country. Thus we are very attentive because this information will help us to understand and develop today's topic. So I'm going to call to Johnny.
Hi Carla.
Hi Johnny, how are you?
So far, so good. And you?
I'm great, thank you.
Guess what, my dear friend? I saw you last night and I remembered that someone over there told me that you knew something about Canada history. Is it right?
Oh, you saw me yesterday? And yes, that's right.
That's amazing. I needed to help me to have a conversation about it. I received a letter 5 days ago and I having an interview for the PR card next week.
Okay, no problem. By the way, did you know that Canada is the second largest country in the world? It occupies most of the northern part of North America, covering the vast land area from the United States in the south to the Arctic Circle in the north.
No, I didn't know, but I watched on television last month that Canada has enormous distances and rich natural resources.
Yes, listen to me. Indigenous people live in what is now known as Canada thousands of years ago, much before the first Europeans arrived. Nowadays they are known as the First Nations and the Inuit people.
Fantastic! Also, the first European people to come to Canada arrived between 50,000 and 30,000 years ago across a land bridge that joined Asia and North America around 1000 AD.
In the early 16th century, Europeans started exploring Canada's eastern coast, beginning with John Cabot from England between 1534 and 1542. Jacques Cartier made 3 voyages across the Atlantic, claimed the land for King Francis I of France.
Yes, I know that for the 1550s, the name of Canada began appearing on maps of Canada that were settled by French and parts of Great Britain.
Johnny, on the other hand, in the 1700s, France and Great Britain battled for control of North America. In 1759, British defeated the French in the Battle of the Plains or Abraham and Quebec City, marking the end of French power in America.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes. Besides, after the war, Great Britain renamed the colony where French were established in the last month, the province of Quebec, but French-speaking Catholic people now as inhabitants or Canadians strive to preserve their way of life.
What I knew is that in the English-speaking Protestant British Empire after the Revolutionary War, many people in the new United States wanted to stay loyal to the Britain, and thousands came north to Canada and settled in Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Quebec, and Ontario.
Listen, I don't know if this is included in the letter you received some days ago, but you must know that in 1931 Canada became fully independent from British ground. Then the government of Canada made all decisions about this country.
Great, that's a good dayton. And I also learned during the last years that the Canadian economy boomed during World War II as its industries manufactured military material for Canada, Britain, China, and the Soviet Union, despite of another conscription crisis in Quebec. And in 1944, Canada finished the war with a large army and a strong economy.
Yes, that's totally right. Canada's last dayton is the same period Canada adopted the Maple Leaf flag, also now without considerable debate and misgivings about large number of English Canadian society.
Oh, thank you very much. I know I will receive the PR card with this data in mind. Thank you and bye.
Okay, bye Johnny, good luck.
Well, what do we learn from this conversation? The first one is that Canada is the second largest country in the world. This is because it has 9.9 million square kilometers of surface, so it's the largest country in America. The second one is that before the arrival of the Europeans, a group of indigenous people known as the First Nation lived in the territory. Nowadays, they are known as the Inuit people. The third one is the first European people to come to Canada arrived between 15,000 and 30,000 years ago across a land bridge that joined Asia North America around 1000 AD. The fourth one is about for the 1550s, the name of Canada began appearing on maps parts of Canada that were settled by French and parts by Great Britain. In 1931, Canada became fully independent from British ground. Then the government of Canada made all the decisions about this country. And finally, Canada is a bilingual country because English and French are the official languages.
Well, taking into account the explanation given by your teacher, let's put in practice what you understood about it. I'm going to ask you 2 questions and I want you to answer them in the comments below. For that, you can pause the video and put down the answers in the comments box below section. First question, guys. In what year did Canada become fully independent from British Empire? And the second question, how are called the indigenous that first inhabited the Canadian lands? Okay guys, for this next part, as I know you were very attentive to this first part, now I'm going to show you some time expressions used in English when speaking of past events or past actions. Como pueden ver, en la pantalla se están mostrando diferentes expresiones de tiempo pasadas usadas por nosotros en la llamada en la primera parte del video. Esas expresiones las clasifiqué en 3 partes. En la primera pueden ver expresiones de tiempo pasadas compuestas por una sola palabra. En el caso de yesterday, en las otras 2 partes pueden ver expresiones de tiempo compuestas por 2 o más palabras. En este caso particular, la partícula ago en inglés es usada para expresar en el pasado que una acción sucedió algún tiempo atrás, siendo el significado en español atrás. Es por eso que la vemos acompañada en este caso de las palabras days, días, week, semana, month, mes o incluso years, años. El mismo caso particular ocurre con el adverbio de tiempo pasado last. En este caso, esta palabra también se compone de otra palabra como day, night, month, week, year, para expresar que la acción sucedió en algún momento pasado, según como la acompañamos, como se ve en los ejemplos. Now, what I want you to do is that you attentively repeat the pronunciation of the words after me. For each time expression, you can pause the video and practice it the times you want to. Yesterday, days ago, weeks ago, months ago, years ago, last night, last month, last day, last year. Okay guys, it's time to make a review of today's topic, that is past English tense. But before, I want you to know if you know what the past tense is. If you know, let me know in the comments box below. Well guys, in the screen you are watching a definition about past simple, and according to this, the simple past tense, sometimes called the preterite, is used in English to talk about a completed action in a time before now. The simple past is the basic form of a past tense in English. The time of the action can be in the recent past or the distant past. Bueno chicos, con esto en mente es momento de revisar cómo se usa el pasado simple del inglés en sus tres diferentes formas: afirmativo, negativo y por último el interrogativo. En la pantalla están viendo ahora mismo una tabla con las estructuras de las tres formas que se usan cuando hablamos en el tiempo pasado. En el primer cuadro vemos la forma afirmativa estructurada de la siguiente forma: sujeto de la oración, que ustedes ya lo conocen, seguido del verbo conjugado en el pasado. En este caso, en el inglés existen dos tipos de verbos en pasados: los irregulares y los regulares. De estos últimos hablaremos en un momento. Y por último tenemos el complemento de la oración, que ustedes agregan según lo requiera el sentido de la oración. En este primer cuadro vemos dos ejemplos. Ahora lo que quiero que hagan es que van a repetir después de mí la oración, y para ello pueden pausar el video.
I skipped English class. I skipped English class. You worked in the office. You worked in the office.
Ahora pasamos al segundo cuadro, donde se muestra la estructura del pasado simple en la negación. Siguiendo este orden, iniciamos con el sujeto de la oración, seguido del auxiliar did not or didn't. Presten mucha atención aquí. En inglés se usa el auxiliar did, que es el pasado del verbo do, para negar oraciones en el pasado. En este caso, did no toma ningún significado como verbo. Él simplemente hace las veces de auxiliar de tiempo para enfatizar que se está haciendo la negación en el pasado. Ahora la forma formal de esta negación es did not. Y el didn't es la forma contraída comúnmente usado en el inglés hablado día a día. Ambos tienen el mismo contexto: negar la oración en el pasado. Luego tenemos el verbo que, como ustedes ven, no está conjugado en el pasado. Lo que hacemos aquí es simplemente poner la forma infinitiva del verbo. ¿Por qué? Pues porque el auxiliar did not or didn't ya nos está dando el contexto del pasado. Es decir, ya nos indica que estamos hablando de algún evento del pasado. Y finalmente tenemos el complemento. Para este segundo cuadro tenemos dos ejemplos, los cuales también van a repetir después de mí, y pueden pausar el video para que lo hagan las veces que deseen.
They didn't go to the park. They didn't go to the park. He didn't study in Pamplona. He didn't study in Pamplona.
Finalmente tenemos en este cuadro la estructura de la forma interrogativa del pasado simple del inglés. En este caso, en primer lugar tenemos el auxiliar de tiempo pasado did, y como les expliqué anteriormente, esta palabra no tiene ningún significado. Aquí solamente trabaja como un auxiliar dándonos el contexto de pregunta en el pasado. En inglés, si queremos preguntar algo en el pasado, colocamos este auxiliar de primero, seguido del sujeto como se muestra aquí, y luego colocamos el verbo acción de la oración, el cual una vez más no se conjuga en su forma pasada, sino que también se usa en su forma infinitiva, y como dije antes, ya el auxiliar did, que está en primer lugar, ya nos indica el contexto del pasado. En este caso la pregunta. Por último tenemos el complemento de la oración, y no olviden que como es una interrogación usamos el signo de interrogación al final. Nuevamente quiero que repitan las oraciones después de mí, y ya saben que pueden pausar el video cuantas veces quieran.
Did she arrive to the airport? Did she arrive to the airport? Did you travel by plane? Did you travel by plane?
Okay guys, Now what you are going to do is to read the sentences, and in the comments box below you are going to tell me if they are structurally correct or not, and why. And also you are going to identify the verbs in past that finish in ed. As you know, for this exercise you are free to pause the video and do the exercise attentively. Well guys, now in the screen you are watching a table where I classified the two kinds of verbs that exist in the past tense of the English language, as you notice. In the right part of the screen are the verbs that belong to the regular type. They are all the verbs ending in ed form, as you could see in the two examples used before. On the left part of the table are classified the verbs that belong to the irregular type. In past tense, they are all the verbs that in the past form change their writing. It is to say, they don't follow an ending rule as the regular do.
As teacher Johnny told you, we will concentrate on regular verbs. This gives a particularity in their pronunciation, since also all the verbs have the ed ending in conjugation in the past tense. They are not pronounced in the same way. So in this section, we will look at the correct way and some rules that will help you to improve pronunciation of ed.
Wanted, helped, called, needed, looked, cleaned, infected, relaxed, closed. Did you notice how the ed was pronounced in 3 different ways? Let's listen again. Pay close attention. Wanted, needed, infected. In this case, the ed sounds like an ed. Again, but this time let's pronounce together. Wanted, needed, infected. Now, the second column. Held, flute, relaxed. Here, the ed sounds like a t or a t sound. Let's pronounce. Held, flute, relaxed. And finally, the third column. Cold, cleaned, closed. The ed sounds like a d or v sound. Let's hear again and repeat. Cold, cleaned, closed. Now, how do we know the correct pronunciation? Well, each of the 3 categories have some rules or aspects that help us to differentiate when using each sound. Let's see. La primera categoría nos dice que todos los verbos conjugados en presente y cuyo sonido final es t o d, en su conjugación en pasado debe tener el sonido id al final. Por ejemplo, wait, I waited for you yesterday. Repeat with me. Waited. Do you hear the ed sound? Yes? Good. Let's see another example. Decide. I decided to study English. Repeat with me. Decided. Did you understand? Good. Let's move on to the second category. En esta categoría, solo los verbos regulares que terminan en determinados sonidos deberán agregar el sonido t al final de la conjugación en pasado. Veamos cuáles son estos sonidos con algunos ejemplos. Listen carefully to the sound of the verb in infinitive and then how it changed in past. Hop, sniff, fix, watch, watch, like, dance, kiss, laugh. Now repeat after me the verbs in past. Hopped, sniffed, fixed, watched, liked, danced, kissed, laughed. You got it? Perfect. Let's go to the last category. Al igual que en la anterior categoría, en esta existen sonidos específicos que determinan que el sonido d debe ser utilizado al final del verbo conjugado en pasado. Let's see. Listen carefully to the sound of the verb in infinitive and then how it changes in past. Call, clean, offer, love, claim, use, wrap, play. Now repeat after me the verbs in past. Called, cleaned, offered, loved, claimed, used, wrapped, played. Before we do an exercise, I want to say that don't worry about memorizing this, as this is something you will get used to the more you listen and practice your English, right? Good. Let's go to practice. I will show you 3 sentences and you need to identify which category each verb belongs to. For example, I painted my room the last weekend. Como el verbo en infinitivo termina en el sonido t, su pronunciación debe tener id al final del verbo en pasado. Por lo tanto, pertenece a la primera categoría. Now it's your turn. Good luck. Pause the video to answer. Now let's look at the answers and repeat after me the correct pronunciation of the verbs. Traveled, traveled. Could, could. Invited, invited. How did it go? Are the last words improved? Let us know in the comments.
Well guys, I hope you learned and enjoyed this lesson as much we did. Remember that you have study material that will help you to understand and reinforce everything we studied today, as well as some other activities to practice. We leave you with some images of Canada, our country chosen for today's class. See you next time. Bye!